If you're new here, welcome to our channel. Don't forget to subscribe and tap the like button. Your support means the world to us and helps us keep sharing stories that deserve to be heard. They say life can change in the blink of an eye. And sometimes, it isn't a thunderstorm or a sudden disaster that turns everything upside down. Sometimes, it's something quiet, a breath, a hesitation, a single choice when you could have turned away but didn't. That's what happened to me. I often ask myself, what if I had ignored that sound that day? What if I had looked away, told myself it was nothing, and just kept going? But I didn't. And because of that one moment, my life split into two parts, before and after. The hardest part to accept is that I wasn't just a helpless witness. No, my silence, my hesitation, my failure to set boundaries, they all played a role in what came next. This is my story, a story of betrayal, of quiet distance that turned into poison, of blurred lines and choices that can't be undone. It all began in a home that looked perfect from the outside. A tidy lawn, painted porch, bright windows catching the morning sun. It looked like stability. To our neighbors, we were the couple that had made it, successful, respected, happy. But inside those walls, silence ruled. Not the peaceful kind of silence, but the heavy kind. The kind that creeps into conversations and replaces words with nods. Birthdays came and went. Gifts were exchanged, but feelings weren't. Dinner at the same table felt like dining with a stranger. Nights passed with us lying side by side, yet worlds apart. That silence had been choking me for years. It didn't shout or argue. It simply hollowed us out slowly until all that was left was a shell of what once was love. And it was inside that fragile quiet that everything began to crumble. It was an ordinary Tuesday afternoon, the kind that slips by unnoticed. I was dusting shelves in the living room as sunlight spilt through the curtains. Then I heard it, faint, distant, a sound drifting from upstairs. Something about it made me stop. At first, I told myself it was nothing. Just the house settling, wood creaking, a pipe humming, the usual. But this felt different. It wasn't just noise. It carried a weight, a pull, like a loose thread daring me to tug. I tried to ignore it. I told myself to go back to cleaning. But curiosity has a way of whispering louder than reason. So, against my better judgment, I climbed the stairs. The air upstairs felt heavier, like stepping into a room right after someone's whispered a secret and left. The sound grew clearer with every step. My pulse quickened. I stopped at the guest room, a space that used to be ours but had slowly turned into his. The door was slightly open, light spilling into the hallway. I stood there, hand frozen in the air, unsure whether to knock or walk away. And then I saw it, not something physical, but enough to twist my stomach and send my heart racing. Words on a glowing screen. Words not meant for me. Private. Hidden. The kind that reveal more than they should. He looked up, eyes wide, startled, guilt flashing across his face. For a moment, time stood still. The silence between us was thick enough to crush. He tried to cover what I'd already seen, but it was too late. The truth had surfaced. And once seen, it couldn't be unseen. We stared at each other, shock, shame, and confusion swirling in the air. I opened my mouth, but no real words came. Just fragments. He mumbled something back, broken, unfinished, hollow. And then silence returned, but this time, it wasn't empty. It was heavy, electric, unbearable. That evening, we sat across from each other at dinner. My husband wasn't home. He was working late, as usual. The clinking of forks against plates filled the air. Neither of us spoke. But beneath that silence, a secret pulsed, too painful to name. Something irreversible had already begun to grow between us. The next few days blurred together. Every room in the house felt different now, smaller, colder. The silence wasn't a lack of words anymore, it was a presence. A ghost that followed us around, reminding us of what had broken. In the mornings, he avoided my eyes, stirring his coffee too fast. At night, we lay side by side but miles apart. We didn't speak about what happened. We didn't fight either. We simply pretended nothing had changed, but everything had. Outside, life went on. We still smiled in pictures. We still told friends, we're fine. But I could feel the mask cracking. Every time he looked at his phone, every late night alone, every quiet moment in that guest room, my mind filled the silence with answers I didn't want. And deep down, I knew the truth. Our marriage hadn't broken that day. It had been falling apart long before. What I saw only revealed the cracks we'd both been ignoring. It was a Friday evening when the last thread snapped. I was in the kitchen, chopping vegetables for dinner, when I heard it again, that same faint rhythm from upstairs. My heart stopped. This time, I didn't lie to myself. I climbed the stairs, step by step, feeling every beat in my chest. The door was open again, light spilling through like a warning. And there he was, lost in the same secret world, the same silence, the same distance. This time, I didn't freeze. The words tore out of me before I could stop them. Why? I asked. Why are you doing this? Why wasn't I enough? He stammered, caught in a web of excuses. It's not what you think, it doesn't mean anything. But I shook my head. It means everything, I said. It means you chose to hide instead of heal. It means you stopped choosing us. His hands trembled. He couldn't look at me. And in that moment, I realized, whatever love we once had already drowned in years of silence. That night at dinner, there was no pretending. No smiles. No effort to fix what couldn't be fixed. The silence wasn't heavy anymore. It was final. I looked across the table and saw not the man I'd loved, but a stranger wearing his face. And I finally understood. Our story hadn't ended because of one mistake. It ended because we stopped fighting for each other a long time ago. The next morning, I packed a small bag, just the essentials. Some clothes, documents, and a few photos I couldn't leave behind. I didn't slam the door. I didn't cry out. I simply left. And for the first time in years, the silence felt different. It wasn't the silence of pain or distance. It was the silence of peace. Freedom. Yes, my heart ached. My hands trembled as I drove away. But I knew one thing with absolute certainty. I had finally chosen myself. This was the end of us but the beginning of me. If you've stayed with me through this story, thank you. Betrayal is never simple. And silence can destroy more than anger ever could. If this story touched you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear it. Until next time, stay strong, stay kind, and most of all, stay true to yourself.